Have you ever caught your reflection in the mirror and thought, why do I look tired? Even after 8 hours of sleep and your favorite lipstick? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the 5 hair colors that might be silently working against you and showing you the shades that actually light you up from within. Here's the truth. As we age, the colors that once made us glow can start to drain us. That platinum blonde you loved at 35, it might now be highlighting every fine line. That dramatic black? It could be weighing down your entire look. But don't worry, you're not alone and you're not stuck. We'll walk through the subtle shifts that make a major difference. From edgy purples that dim your spark, to warm caramels that bring it back. So, before your next color appointment, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps more women discover videos like this. Subscribe to Golden Elder Days for timeless beauty wisdom, and share in the comments which hair color has worked for you and which one totally didn't. Let's be honest, who hasn't been tempted by the cool, icy elegance of platinum blonde at some point? It's bold, it's chic, and it practically whispers, fashion editor when done right. But here's a question worth asking. Does that same platinum tone still whisper elegance? Or has it started screaming washed out and tired without your permission? As we age, our skin naturally loses some of its underlying pigment. The warmth we had in our 30s and 40s tends to soften, sometimes disappearing altogether. So what happens when we throw a blast of pure frost on top of that? You guessed it. We end up looking like we wandered out of a snowstorm and forgot our moisturizer. Could platinum blonde be turning down your glow instead of turning up your style? It's possible. This shade can drain your complexion, highlight every bit of paleness, and exaggerate fine lines or uneven skin tone. Think about it. The same color that once made you feel radiant might now be making you look a little spectral. And let's talk maintenance. Are you ready to be best friends with your stylist? Because platinum requires frequent root touch-ups, toning treatments, and constant upkeep just to stay icy instead of brassy. If you've already embraced fewer appointments and more freedom in your 60s, why commit to a color that demands high-level babysitting? Not to mention, all that bleaching can be brutal on hair that's already drier or more delicate due to age. Breakage, split ends, dullness, none of these scream glamour, do they? But here's the good news. You don't have to give up blonde. You just have to find your version of blonde now, not the one that suited you at 25. Have you ever tried a soft beige blonde, a warm honey tone, even golden champagne? These gentler shades reflect light instead of absorbing it. They add warmth to the face, create a soft glow, and pair beautifully with the changing tone of mature skin. They whisper sun-kissed instead of frostbitten, and guess what? They're way more forgiving when it comes to root regrowth. Still wondering whether lighter hair is worth the switch? Ask yourself this: do I want a color that supports my beauty or one that competes with it? At the end of the day, platinum may work on some women, but it shouldn't work against you. If you find yourself constantly layering on blush or wondering why you look tired despite a good night's sleep, your hair color might be the uninvited guest in that equation. So don't be afraid to step away from the ice and move toward the light, the warm, flattering, naturally radiant kind, because hair color should lift your spirit, not your salon bills. So, you're feeling a little rebellious? Thinking a deep plum or moody eggplant shade might show the world that your boldness didn't retire when you did? We get it. There's something seductive about dark purple. It's rich, mysterious, even a little witchian, a fun midnight at the museum kind of way. But here's the million-dollar question. Does this edgy color actually flatter your features? Or is it secretly draining the life from your look like a color vampire? Let's break it down. Dark purples, especially those with blue or cool undertones, are bold. They're also unnatural, meaning your skin has no existing cues to help balance them out. And what happens when that vibrant, almost alien color sits right against skin that's become softer, thinner, and a touch more translucent over the years? You guessed it, your glow disappears like your keys when you're running late. It's a bit like walking into a fog. You're still there, you just can't quite see yourself. Dark purple also has a not-so-charming habit of clinging to every shadow on your face. Got some gentle under-eye circles? A slightly sagging jawline? Minor discoloration? Plum says, let's spotlight those. Not quite the hype squad you were hoping for, huh? And let's not forget the commitment. Are you prepared for how quickly this color fades? 1 minute you're channeling moody elegance. 3 washes later, you're stuck in blotchy violet territory that looks less statement and more accidental art project. On already porous or gray hair, dark purple can leave behind muddy patches that are tougher to fix than a dropped iPhone screen. Still convinced purple is your power color? You don't have to give it up, just soften the edges. Have you ever tried a touch of lavender woven into your natural color? Or a dusting of soft violet that catches the light but doesn't cast a shadow over your features? These lighter, airier takes on purple add personality without overpowering your face. They say, I'm still creative, but they also say, I know what works with my skin tone. And let's be real, wouldn't you rather get compliments on your eyes, your smile, or your radiant energy, rather than your hair color stealing the whole show and leaving you in the background? Here's the truth. Bold doesn't always mean better. Sometimes it just means louder. And af. So, if you're craving color, go for it. Just steer toward tones that support your natural. Ever walk past a mirror, catch a glimpse of your reflection and think, woe's that me or a traffic light? If your hair is blazing cherry red, the answer might be both. Let's be honest, red hair has attitude. It's bold, energetic, and full of personality. No wonder so many women reach for that vibrant box of crimson as soon as they feel their look getting a little quiet. Red says, I'm still here, and I've still got fire. But here's the question. Is that fire flattering, or is it burning down your natural glow? Bright reds think cherry, ruby, or fire engineer undeniably eye-catching. But they can also be overwhelming, especially on mature skin. Why? Because the contrast is intense. Red hair shouts, mature skin, it whispers. That extreme color can exaggerate every undertone in your face, especially the ones you'd rather not highlight. Got a little redness in your cheeks? Broken capillaries? Uneven pigmentation? A vivid red hue will pull out a megaphone and announce, here they are. And what about your natural hair texture? Red, especially the vivid kind, reflects light in a way that tends to accentuate every strandery, frizzy, thinning, or otherwise. It can actually make your hair appear more fragile than it is. Not quite the message you were going for, right? But here's the real kicker. Red fades fast. You might leave the salon glowing like a sunset, but give it 2 weeks, and you're more likely looking like a patchy watercolor painting. Vivid red doesn't age gracefully, it slips away unevenly, leaving behind brassy leftovers that are a pain to correct. So what's a fiery soul to do? Here's a better idea. Channel your inner flame without scorching your style. Rich tones like auburn, warm cinnamon, or soft copper still give you that passionate poppet with softness and depth. These shades blend with your complexion instead of bulldozing it. They glow rather than glare. Auburn in particular has just enough red to feel spirited, but enough brown to ground it. It flatters most skin tones, especially when the skin is changing. Cinnamon adds spice without the sting. And copper? It's like liquid sunshine, warm, bright, but still beautifully wearable. And guess what? These warmer, gentler reds grow out more gracefully. They fade in a softer, more natural way, meaning less time in the salon and more time just living your life. Plus, if you ever decide to tone things down even further, it's a much easier transition than trying to recover from nuclear red. So ask yourself this. Do you want your hair to compete with your face or complement it? Because true confidence doesn't need to scream to be heard. It shows up with a wink, a little warmth, and a color that feels like you just a little turned up. Let the color reflect your energy, not overpower your essence. So have you ever looked at a bottle of electric green hair dye and thought, why not? Maybe it was a Tuesday, maybe you were bored, Or maybe. But here's a better question. Do you want people to notice your hair color first, or you first? Now, don't get me wrong, bold colors have their place. Neon green, teal, even sapphire blue, they're expressive, they're attention-grabbing, they say, "I still have edge." But unfortunately, they also sometimes say, "I might have lost the mirror." As we age, our skin changes. It becomes lighter, cooler, or sometimes uneven in tone, and that's perfectly natural. But when you pair those subtle undertones with a bright, artificial color, say, toxic waste green or glow-in-the-dark turquoisite, can create some PR. Ever noticed how neon shades tend to highlight every shadow and line? That's because these colors are so unnatural, they clash with your skin's undertones. Neon greens can make you look a bit sallow. Blues might accentuate dark circles or cool down your glow to a level just shy of hospital lighting. And teals, they're fun in a throw pillow knot always on your scalp. And here's the kicker, they fade faster than your morning coffee cools down. You might feel like a mermaid goddess for the first week, but 2 shampoos later, you're dealing with streaky leftovers that lean more swamp than chic. Maintaining these colors requires a lot of effort, special shampoos, constant touch-ups, and more hours in the salon than you'd care to admit. So, is there a way to have a little fun without turning your head into a color wheel? Absolutely. Cool ash browns, smoky grays, or slate hues are your new secret weapons. Think of ash brown as your, "I'm still modern, but I also own moisturizer" shade. It adds personality without looking like you've dipped your head in highlighter ink. Smoky gray or slate. These shades are mysterious, stylish, and incredibly flattering on mature skin. They give a soft edge, like eyeliner for your hair. And bonus, they fade with grace, not panic. Not sure if you're ready to give up the fantasy colors entirely? You don't have to. Try a subtle streak of lavender blended into your natural tone. Or a cool blue glaze over silver hair. It's just enough to show personality without hijacking your whole look. So, before you go full neon, ask yourself, am I expressing my creativity or just exhausting my colorist? You've got too much elegance and too many stories to tell to be drowned out by hair dye that glows in the dark. Still hanging on to that jet black hair from your younger years? Be honest, when was the last time someone said, "Wow, your hair looks bold"? And you weren't secretly wondering if that meant intense, maybe a little too intense? Let's get real. Jet black hair is like overhead fluorescent lighting. Dramatic? Yes. Unforgiving? Absolutely. It can spotlight every fine line, every under-eye shadow, and every little dip or curve in your features that you'd probably prefer stayed in soft focus. Why does this happen? Well, as we age, our skin naturally softens in color and texture. That fresh flush from our 30s becomes more subtle, more delicate. When you pair that gentle skin tone with an inky, no-nonsense black, the contrast can be jarring. Instead of lifting your face, jet black can actually weigh it down visually, flattening your features and amplifying any signs of fatigue or tension. And let's talk about shine. You know how black cars look fabulous right after a wash, but show every speck of dust the minute the sun hits. Same idea here. Black hair, while sleek, also highlights thinning areas and root regrowth with brutal honesty. If you've got some silver peeking through, it doesn't whisper, it screams. You might be thinking, but I've always had black hair. It's who I am. Totally fair. But here's the thing. Your identity isn't tied to a hair color, it's in your presence, your laugh, your way of walking into a room and making people feel seen. Hair is just framing. And speaking of framing, wouldn't it be nice if that frame was a little more forgiving? Enter espresso brown, cool dark chocolate, or even a smoky brunette. These shades still feel rich and bold, but with a softness that blends instead of battles. They reflect light better, making your hair look more dimensional. And they play nicely with aging skin, offering depth without overwhelming the canvas. Still nervous about letting go of the black? You don't have to jump ship overnight. Try a gradual transition. Add warm low lights, shift your base color one tone lighter, or try a semi-permanent gloss that softens the intensity without fully committing. Remember, change doesn't mean betrayal, it means evolution. And here's a fun question. What if your next chapter isn't about clinging to what once was, but discovering what suits you best right now? So before you reach for that box of black dye again, pause and ask yourself, is this helping me shinier? Is it casting shadows where I want light? Because the goal isn't to look younger. It's to look more like the best, most radiant version of you today. After all that color chaos, jet black weighing down your features, platinum washing you out, vivid red setting off fire alarms, let's take a deep breath and ask the golden question. What does work after 60? Is there a shade that doesn't just cover, but actually complements? That doesn't fight against your skin tone, but flows with it like your favorite jazz song on a Sunday morning? Let us introduce you to your new best friend. Think of this shade as the perfect cup of coffee with just the right swirl of cream. Not too dark, not too light, just that rich velvety in-between that warms up your features without screaming for attention. But here's the real question. Why is chestnut brown so flattering on mature skin? Let's break it down. As we age, our skin often loses a bit of its natural glow and can develop cooler or uneven undertones. That same strawberry pink you loved in your 30s may now look, well, like a highlighter exploded. Warm chestnut brown, though? It restores balance. The subtle reddish golden tones in chestnut gently bring warmth back to your complexion like the soft flicker of candlelight at golden hour. It doesn't just sit on your head, it glows, it harmonizes, it enhances. And if you've been battling the gray hair peekaboo every 3 weeks, good news. Chestnut is sneaky in the best way. It blends gray regrowth like a magician's sleight of hand. No harsh roots, no glaring contrast, just a smooth, forgiving grow out that buys you more time between salon visits. Another bonus? Chestnut brown reflects light beautifully. Even if your hair is a little thinner or more delicate than it used to be, which, let's be honest, most of us are, this shade adds dimension and movement. Translation: your hair looks fuller, healthier, and yes, more youthful. Still not convinced? Let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how some colors just click with everything you wear? Chestnut brown is one of those rare hues that pairs perfectly with your entire wardrobe. Navy, cream, burgundy, forest green, you name it, chestnut complements it. It brings just enough contrast to make your features pop, but not so much that your hair steals the show. And it's versatile too. Whether you rock a pixie, bob, soft waves, or a shoulder-length sweep, this color frames the face beautifully without overpowering your natural look. Best of all, it doesn't age you, it honors you. Chestnut brown whispers confidence. It says, yes, I've lived, and yes, I still glow. So, if you've been staring in the mirror thinking, maybe it's time for something softer, this just might be your sign. Because sometimes, the most powerful transformation doesn't shout, it simply shifts you towards something that feels more like you. So you've dialed down the jet black, ditched the platinum drama, and maybe flirted with chestnut. But what if you're not looking for a full color commitment? What if you just want a gentle nudge towards something fresh without the whole hair salon love affair? Let's ask something fun. Can hair highlight your best features without a speck of foundation? Turns out it can. Enter honey brown highlights. They're like a soft Instagram filter but real and way more flattering in daylight. You might be wondering, aren't highlights high maintenance? Ah, not these. These are the chill cousins of bold streaks and chunky foils from the early 2000s. Honey brown highlights are subtle, radiant, and ridiculously versatile. They blend into your natural base so seamlessly, people won't even know you've had something done. They'll just say, "You look amazing, did you sleep well?" Let's break down what makes them magic. First, placement. Honey highlights are often applied strategically around the face and crown. That means they act like built-in contouring. You know how bronzer adds warmth and structure to your face? This does the same without requiring a makeup brush. Second movement. As we age, our hair can start to feel a little still, flat, uninspired, but honey tones catch the light in motion. They shimmer when you turn your head, flicker in the sun, and give even the simplest ponytail a little sparkle. Now, here's a question we don't ask enough. Can you add vibrance to your look without screaming for attention? Yes, that's the beauty of honey brown. It whispers sophistication. It hums with elegance. It says, I glow, but I don't brag about it. These highlights also work with what you already have. Whether your base color is soft gray, faded brunette, or salt and pepper chic, honey tones layer in warmth without overpowering. You're not covering who you are, you're enhancing it, like good lighting in a cozy room. And let's talk skin tone for a second. Have you ever noticed how some shades of blonde wash you out? Honey brown does the opposite. It adds life. The golden undertones help soften shadows, blur imperfections, and make your complexion look lit from within even when it's been days since you touched blush. Still nervous about coloring your hair? Here's the best part. This doesn't require a full commitment. Unlike global dye jobs, honey brown highlights grow out gracefully, no harsh root lines, no monthly panic when your part starts showing. You can even ease into them, gradually start with a few around the face, then add more as you fall in love with the glow. Plus, they pair beautifully with nearly any hairstyle or wardrobe. Whether you're rocking soft waves, a pixie cut, or an elegant bun, honey tones elevate the look effortlessly. And when you're wearing neutrals like cream, navy, or camel, prepare for compliments. One more thing, these highlights play nice with time. If you ever decide to embrace your grays fully, the transition will be smooth, not shocking. Honey brown creates that in-between space where grace meets glow and maturity meets movement. So, if you're standing at the crossroads between staying natural and going glam, consider this the scenic route. It's not loud. It's not trendy. It's timeless. And the best part? Every time you catch your reflection, you'll think not, who is that? But, ah, there I am. So, what if you're still craving a touch of blonde debut without the platinum panic or bleach trauma? Let's ask. Is there a way to go lighter and softer without looking like you wrestled a bottle of peroxide? Yes, and it's called light caramel. Imagine golden hour lighting, that magical moment just before sunset when everything and everyone looks effortlessly beautiful. Now imagine that, but in your hair. That's what light caramel delivers, a soft, sun-kissed warmth that flatters without fighting your natural beauty. Why does this shade work so well after 60? Simple, because it does everything platinum blonde wants to dope it with none of the icy attitude. Let's break it down. First, complexion magic. As we age, our skin loses a bit of its natural color and vibrance. Harsh blondes can exaggerate this, making you look washed out or even tired. But light caramel? It brings life back to your face. It warms your undertones, softens fine lines, and creates a healthy glow that says, yes, I slept 8 hours, even if I didn't. Second, depth and dimension. Caramel isn't flat, it's layered. It has those golden, toffee-like tones that catch the light just right. Whether your hair is curled, waved, or tucked into a bun, this color makes every strand look richer and more polished. Even on a messy hair day, caramel gives you that intentional, put-together, on-purpose kind of look. You might be wondering, do I have to go full-on blonde for this to work? Not at all. That's the beauty of caramel. It's not bleach blonde, it's not brassy blonde, it's not oops, I overdid it blonde. It's the just right kind of blonde, a whisper, not a shout. And that means you can blend it into your existing hair color, whether that's light brown, warm chestnut, or even graying silver, and it plays nicely. And let's talk maintenance. Because, let's be honest, who really wants to spend every third weekend trapped in a salon chair with foils in your hair and a timer ticking ominously? Caramel is forgiving. It grows out gracefully. If your roots are light or gray, the transition won't be harsh. And if you're someone who likes to stretch your salon visits a little longer, guilty, caramel's your new best friend. Another perk? It makes your hair look thicker. Yep, you read that right. If your strands are starting to feel a little thin or flat, the warmth and reflectivity of caramel tones can create the illusion of fullness. It adds movement, bounce, and even shine, all without a drop of mousse. And let's not overlook versatility. Caramel complements nearly every skin tone, especially those with warm or neutral undertones. It pairs beautifully with clothing colors like olive, cream, burgundy, or navy. Plus, it looks chic whether your hair is short and spiky or long and layered. It's basically the color equivalent of a flattering blazer, goes with everything, makes you look pulled together. So, if you've been hesitant to go lighter because you fear turning brassy or battling root regrowth every month, take a breath. Caramel is your cozy middle ground. It offers the glow-up without the drama, the polish without the peroxide. Because why shout, "I'm blonde," when you can whisper, "I glow"? And let your hair do the talking. So here's the truth. Getting older doesn't mean fading away. It means knowing yourself better than ever and choosing colors that reflect your light, not dim it. You don't need loud hair to be seen. You don't need high-maintenance color to be admired. And you certainly don't need to chase trends to prove you're vibrant. Because elegance, it doesn't shout, it glows quietly. If you felt a little seen by today's video, go ahead and click like, subscribe to Golden Elder Days, and drop a comment below telling me, which color are you saying goodbye to on? Which one are you excited to try next? And if this spoke to you, don't stop here. We've got more heartwarming style advice, radiant. Go ahead, head back to the Golden Elder, because it's just getting started.